Want to have your own business but don't want to start from scratch? Franchising might be the answer you're looking for. Welcome to the Level Up with Nick Lopez show. The show that brings you thought leaders in business, franchising, and high-performance personal development. Whether you're a buyer, seller, franchisee, franchisor, or a consultant, find everything you need to know about franchising right here. Own a business without the pain and financial losses that come with creating it. Find the time, freedom, and financial independence you can have through entrepreneurship. Learn how franchising can help you get there. Listen up and get ready for another episode of the Level Up with Nick Lopez show.
Welcome to the Level Up show with Nick Lopez, where we have the absolute pleasure of learning from thought leaders in business, franchising, and high performance personal development. Today, we have another special episode of the people at Lime. And today's guest started off as an entry-level salesperson in our founding location in Denver, Colorado. He became our second franchise owner and has grown to owning 6 locations across multiple states. He currently generates over multiple 7 figures in revenue. That's a lot of value in the marketplace. He is the owner of Lime Painting of Northern Colorado in San Diego. And if that was not enough, he is also the president of the Franchise Advisory Council at Lime Painting. It is my pleasure to welcome Tyler Foos to the show.
It's my pleasure, Nick. I'm excited to be on here.
It's an honor to have you. And my goodness, as I was thinking about how to introduce you, I'm like, man, I have to keep this short. It's like the list could be so long. And, clearly you've become a friend, a brother, a business partner, and so many other things. Really thank you for making the time. This is a show where we're able to share information with the world that helps them level up. And most certainly, you have a unique ability to create teams, deliver value, and do it in a way that a lot of companies don't. You genuinely lead with our values of love, integrity, mission, and excellence. And it's really been awesome to see you grow into the leader that you are today. And I'm looking forward to seeing where you take your business, your empire. So without further ado, let's jump in. Tyler, if you wouldn't mind sharing, how did you stumble into Lime and where did you get started?
Yeah, so it all started actually at Greenwood Community Church in Greenwood Village. So shout out to Pastor Doug Brown. You and I were a part of a men's Bible study group, kind of a discipleship program. We called ourselves the Disciples, jokingly. I was at a place in my life where I realized I wanted to own a business. I wanted to get out of corporate America, and I wanted to align myself with a company that had shared values. The more I looked into Lime, the more our relationship grew. I thought the values of love, integrity, mission, excellence lined up with what I wanted to do. And ultimately, I loved the vision of doing business as mission with you. And so that's really what intrigued me. I liked the idea of working for a small business that gave back through the community. Limelight Outreach is a tremendous organization that continues to grow year after year and impact the youth and others in the community. So for me, the more I got to know you, the more I was excited to be a part of Lime. And before I jumped into owning, I wanted to make sure that I could actually do it and the model worked. And pretty quickly, 5 months in, I realized, wow, this model really works. We bring tremendous value to the client, and it's all client focused.
Well said. And that just takes me back. I mean, my goodness, when was it that you started at Lime? What year was that?
So that was 2017.
17.
And it's gone by I mean, in some ways it feels like a while, and in some ways it feels like it was just yesterday, and the growth's been tremendous.
Right? Oh my gosh, when I was getting ready to talk with you today, I was thinking back on what year you started, and man, 17. Yeah, the years fly by. My goodness. Um, Tyler, before we really dive in further, I would like to just hear from you. What motivates you?
Yeah, I mean, what motivates me is creating other opportunities for other people. I would say the biggest reason for that is you created an opportunity for me. The impact that's had on me, I can't speak enough to that. And so I looked for people that I wanted to also serve and give an opportunity, and it's been really neat. The first person I hired was my mom. The second person I hired is my brother. My brother and I are competing in love, to have a top location at Lime and revenue, and most importantly in service. And he's crushing it, and he keeps me on my toes. And how that's been life changing to him, just like it's been life changing to me. My father passed away last December, and he was really ill for a lot of years. And had my mom stayed in corporate America, she would not have been able to balance working and also supporting my dad. And now my sister-in-law's here. Now my wife's here, and we're growing a team. So I think giving other people opportunity and trying to glorify God and all of that is what most motivates me. And I think a lot of that stems from your leadership and, what you've done in my life.
Yeah, and as you were talking, it's all about others, and it's all about service. Clearly, a very humble individual here, and I talk about this all the time. Success in business comes down to humility. Business, especially in a service company like Lime, we have a saying at Lime. We work in beautiful places for beautiful people with beautiful people, and it's all about the people and serving well, being heart led, and there is just a genuine posture that you have, and going all the way back to 2017, right? Putting your best foot forward goes a long way. I'm in my 15th year. I started my freshman year of college painting, and I would hear from clients things like, "Hey Nick, thanks for showing up. Thanks for doing a good job. Thanks for answering your phone." And those are differentiators in the paint space. And then you throw in all the other things that we pile on that, and just who you are as an individual is clearly unique, and customers have always gravitated toward that. And it's very simple to do things like answer your phone and show up and do a good job. But Tyler, you're clearly building this empire, right? And that's business. And yes, we're talking about the service that we offer in luxury painting and serving customers. But you're also an entrepreneur. You're a businessman, and you're building this empire. And you're not just talking about it; you're doing it. And day by day, customer by customer, uh, you have started at Lime from an entry level position to a business owner, and have continued to expand your footprint for growth. So, as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, what is your vision for the empire that you're building at Lime?
Great question. I would love to grow a business to 100 million in revenue. One of the things that I learned from you is that business is about people. It's about serving your client better than anyone else, bringing them more value than anyone else, and serving the people on your team. And also, there's a formula for success as far as scaling a business. And once you understand that formula and you attack that process, the business is going to grow. It's going to scale. And you have to find the right people, and you have to treat them well, and you have to give them the tools to be successful. You have to push when you need to push. You need to let off when you need to let off. But I want to grow $100 million company really in the end to give people the same opportunity you gave me. it's changed my life. And hopefully too, I'll be able to utilize some of the revenue from the business to plant churches and potentially pastor a church. So that's the end goal. And I would love to strive to get there. And if I fail, so be it. But that's what I'd like to shoot for.
My goodness, that is a big, hairy, audacious goal. 100 million, but that is represented by a lot of lives changed, a lot of customers served, and a lot of impact. Clearly, you are using that success to turn around and give back, right? You're talking about planning churches through the business. The M in Lime stands for mission. That is using our business as a platform to give back and impact the communities that we serve. And again, just embodying the values of Lime. Tyler, thanks for sharing that. When you think about giving customers exceptional value, what does that look like?
A lot of it ties back to our core values of integrity. A lot of our clients are white collar. They know little to nothing about the trades. A lot of CEOs, lawyers, doctors, entrepreneurs. It'd be very easy to leave a job site without getting it right, without establishing a maximum water seal, without prepping it properly. There's a lot of ways to make the project look good, but there are underlying issues. So I think it's about going above and beyond. Little things like when we're removing boards off of a home, making sure that we have a tarp, making sure that we have tools to get rid of all the nails, like really small things that you would think everyone would do, but not everyone does do those things in the field. Listening and estimates, what's really important to this client, and making sure that you pay special attention to ensuring that you take care of your client in that way. I think it all goes back to bringing more and more value, training them to see the home the way you see it, training them on products, training them on the scope. That creates accountability. You're very transparent with the process. A lot of our competition, we joke about, we have a lot of really good competition, a lot of really good companies. A lot of times, though, people will handwrite an estimate on a napkin, and it'll say paint house. And there's no products and there's no specificity to it. So I think everything that we do, we try to bring as much value as we can. We try to serve them above and beyond. We want to do things that will go unnoticed, that they don't know, but that's a part of having integrity. And I think over time, the word gets out, and it's just an effective way to grow a business in general. And I think if we model the way we do business, the way that Christ lived, he humbled himself to become, a mere human being. He washed people's feet. There was nothing that he thought he was above. And so I think if we can have that same, heart-led servant attitude and not just say it, but actually do it, I think it's the right thing to do. But I also just think it leads to more opportunities, more business, and more growth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so you mentioned so many things in there, but you started with integrity, and by leading with a thorough consultation where you're educating clients, you're able to give them a perspective on their home that they've probably never had before. Clearly we're a luxury paint company, and we work on custom homes. And these custom homes have many different surfaces that make up the estate. And as a result, each one of those surfaces deteriorates from sun and water damage. And so by heavily vetting solutions that are high grade, from from the stamped concrete to the siding to the trim and all of the accent surfaces, every surface is assessed and advised based on thorough preparation, creating an ideal profile for a really vetted top coat to perform and protect it from sun and water damage. That is different, clearly. And by leading with integrity, right, clearly vetting out and creating that accountability that you talked about, my goodness, that is exceptional value. When you think about training your team, right, you don't impact a ton of clients by yourself. You do that with the team, right? And when you're thinking about working with your team and helping them understand what we just talked about, how do you see the folks on your team embodying exceptional value?
I'm glad, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked. I think it's our culture, and it's the people that we're looking to hire. I think that having a growth mindset, that you can coach people up, and people can change, but we try to start with the right people. We went through so many interviews to get the really quality folks that we have that partner with us in business, and we wanted to work with people that had that same heart to serve. And so every single one of our leadership meetings, every single one of our meetings with the team, it is always about, when we're identifying issues and discussing them and solving them, it's always intended to make it easier for our artisans, make it more profitable for our artisans, making it easier and better for our clients, making it easier for each other. How do we serve each other to grow the business together so that there's more opportunities for others, including the people that are already on the team? So, hey, if we want to have a couple of general managers and a regional manager and a director of estimating and a director of production and a controller and all these things that we talk about, we have to do business the right way. And so I think it just consumes every single conversation we have. And, we look to you in home office and all the subcommittees that are affiliated with the FAC. We're reading, books like the 12-week year right now. That's very high performance driven. And we try to marry that with service-led attitude. And I don't know a better way, to really grow a business and to do it right. And I learned a lot of that, obviously, from you and from other really good mentors in my life. So yeah, it's the people. I feel like we
Yeah,
try to get the right people.
yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned something in there that I want to make sure is not glazed over. You talked about this idea of artisans, right? What do you mean by that?
I look at them much more than painters. First of all, I think painting is an incredible art in and of itself. And it's something that brings a tremendous amount of value to these homes. A lot of people don't know about coating systems and the importance of maintaining a home, but a lot of them do a lot more. They do carpentry, they do masonry, they do stonework, and they truly are artists. When you look at the fact that we work on Victorian homes in Boulder off of Mapleton Ave, a lot of times those homes have 8 or 9 colors. You want to talk about having clean cut lines when there's 8 colors on, 100-year-old fish scale siding with 20 layers of paint. That's not easy. So I really do consider them artists. I think, I know I couldn't do it. I've tried, and it's definitely a skilled art.
Yeah, going back to my college days, I remember hiring college kids, and there's a big difference between, folks that are committed to the industry, and in that example, college kids, and then even the craftsmen in the space that do it professionally. There are different uh, levels of craftsmanship, and really the top tier artists, and there is an incredible talent in the work that our artisans do. It's you can't do anything but appreciate the transformations that they provide. And yeah, so thanks for sharing that, Tyler. Continuing on the theme of our values, right? When you look at the value of excellence, that's a standard. And we talk a lot about poor, average, good, great, excellent. Those are different standards. But going back to our founding days, these were conversations that we had before we even started scaling, right? When you're working in our founding location, and every year we were just trying to increase the bar. And one year we said, okay, excellence, yeah, we get that. All right, let's go for another tier. So, we went to world class. And that was really themed by the service, right? And that difference between an ordinary paint job and a luxury paint job, having that world-class experience. There are standards, and clearly Lime is a high-performance culture, right? Yes, we're heart-led and servant-based, and love, integrity, and mission are important values, but excellence really creates this high-performance culture and this incredible standard. So I've talked all around it, but I would love to hear from you, Tyler. How do you perceive when you're working with clients and you're building your team and you're in your community? How do you look at delivering world-class service?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for me, because we're team building, it's about providing the tools and the expertise to our team because they're the representatives of Lime. They're the face of Lime. They're who the clients interact with most. So we have meetings 3 times a week with our team where we go over some sort of training. And sometimes it's how do you handle customers with certain personalities, being patient with some when maybe they don't fully understand what we're doing, being patient and loving in that. And sometimes it's more expertise of coatings and what type of tips do we use on sprayers and how often should we be changing them out. It's being able to identify and audit projects extremely well so that we give people the best possible service. We have partnered with and leveraged our relationships with Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore to the point where they've allowed us to use their warehouses to onboard and train crews. So before we even put them on a house, we're able to vet out new products. We're able to use sprayers to make sure we're spraying properly. They help train us. And then a lot of times we'll put them on just a small trim job. We'll let the client know, this is a new artisan, new crew that we're working with. We're going to work on your trim. We're absolutely going to get it right. And so we're transparent with that. And it allows our, craftspeople over time to level up their game to the point where we feel comfortable putting them on, very large custom homes. And the other thing is safety, safety and training. And so, studying OSHA and studying like, how do we keep these folks safe? It's going to make everyone more comfortable. It's going to allow me to sleep more at night, our account managers, production coordinator, whatever the role is. And most importantly, it keeps them safe. And so I think world-class customer service, I think the values at Lime is all driven on like your podcast, the title of your podcast, how do we continue to level up? We'll never arrive. We'll never be perfect. And we tell our clients that like, hey, we're probably going to get overspray. Something will likely go wrong, but if you trust us, we do have integrity. This is everything to us. This business is really important. It's really important that we serve people well. So just know that if something goes wrong, we will get it right. We stand by what we do. So
yeah, not running anywhere. And painting's a simple business, right? It's not complex. Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing about something goes wrong in the world of painting. It's hey, overspray gone on a brick, it gets cleaned off. Something doesn't look quite right in terms of the finish, it gets touched up. Cut lines aren't quite clean enough, they get touched up. It's an easy solution in the paint space because most of the time the solution is touch it up, recoat it, clean it up. And when you have the posture of making it right and satisfaction guaranteed, it's a pretty practical process. And when you have a genuine relationship with a client and you set the right expectations and communicate proactively, clearly that is a world-class service. But one of the things you were talking about that was impressive was just the attention to detail in developing the talent, right? It's not just about the relationship. It's very important to get the service right and to have the expertise and the ability to deliver on, all of the services that we offer for luxury estates, for custom homes. So, Tyler, we've talked quite a bit about the team and the artisans and clients and the approach. And so a lot of this is talking about culture, right? So from a culture perspective, how do you do that? How do you lead your team and your organization to adopt this type of culture? This is not normal, and it takes a lot of intentional effort. You alluded to it a little bit earlier. You said, "Hey, we're always emphasizing and leading and drilling down on these points." So when you are building the culture, and clearly there's a lot more culture and business for you to build, how do you go about creating this type of culture?
As I grew the business, I believed in what I was preaching, so to speak. You get to a point where you say, I better live this out. Because if I'm going to expect my team to live it out, I better be leading from the front. I better be doing it myself because they're watching. And I haven't done it perfectly, but I think my team knows where my heart is. And when I make mistakes, I own up to it. Hey, I didn't handle that right. I'm sorry. Here's what I'm going to do differently next time. Here's how I'm going to fix that. So no one is above anyone on the team. And I think when you can not only provide the vision for people and the understanding, this isn't just going to benefit you, it's going to benefit our clients and our artisans and you. And you don't realize the impact of things that you do. This is a really small thing, but for example, if ClickUp isn't updated and we have all these different locations and we're sharing crews, that can impact somebody in Fort Collins trying to schedule a job. So I think helping them understand, casting that vision, providing the why behind it. I can't change somebody's heart. I can't really necessarily motivate them, but I do think in some ways, what can help people get there is by living it out. And so, like I said, I do it imperfectly. I make mistakes all the time, but I try to, hold myself accountable in front of everyone. So we'll have meetings with the whole team and I'll call myself out and I'll share, how I can be better. And my hope is that I can be a good example for them. Not a perfect example, but at least they know, like, okay, Tyler, his heart's in the right place. He's a man of his word. He lives it out. And then I think when you see the fruit of that, you see the evidence of that. For me, at least when I see other leaders do that, like I want to follow that guy or that gal or whatever it is. And I think that's what we're starting to see. And it's not just me. Like it's Amanda. It's really our whole team lives it out. And I've had mentors like you. I've had mentors like Pastor Doug Brown. I've had mentors like my current pastor, Nick Cady, and others. Armin Kadiwala at Northwestern Mutual, Nick Langfell's Northwestern Mutual, and so many incredible people and high performers that they weren't just about the bottom line. They're about serving people and not just preaching, but living it out. So the impact that had on me, I bought a franchise system for a reason. Like, hey, it's already there. I just have to follow it. And if it has the right value and it has the right process, it's going to take off. And that's why Lime's taken off. So I'm not that smart. I'm just kind of following what others have done. And then if I can add one or two nuggets here or there of studying other people, reading books and applying it, I think it's a good recipe. And so our team has really adopted that. And now we have a couple of leaders who are mentoring those underneath them. We're providing the coaching to them so they can provide the coaching to others. And I told them, like, this is what Nick did for me. I'm doing exactly what Nick taught me, and I'm teaching you the same thing. And we might have slightly different personalities, but it worked. Has worked for a ton of people. You look at what's happened with Jim and Luke and me and Joe Latella and Matt. I mean, I could go on and on. So when you find something that works, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And you can add a little to maybe level it up in a way that will work for your business and your location. So yeah, it just stemmed from so many others who have impacted my life. I left out my father and my mom, but yeah, I try to follow what I think people do well. And I think that's really what has changed our culture. But I'll tell you, and you know this, Nick, it wasn't always like that. And I had to go through adversity. I had to be humbled to get to that point where like I really lived it out and I fully bought into it. And I think you have to go through adversity to get there, to get to that point. So I'm very grateful for the adversity that I've gone through at times in my life. It's humbled me, brought me to my knees, and it's put me in a better place, and given me a better perspective on things.
You're certainly shooting for the stars, right? And pulling many folks along with you, and that requires tremendous growth. And you call it falling to your knees. I mean, practically speaking, that's probably what happened, but it was accumulation of pursuing this vision and having this standard for creating this impact. And my goodness, I really admire your persistence and diligence and commitment to who you are and where you're going. And when I asked you to talk about culture, I did not think you were going to say that you just live it out, but that is great leadership. It's one thing to bark orders and not live it out. It's a totally different perspective. And to your point, my goodness, you want to follow that person when you know that they are in the fight and have your back as well. So my gosh, you've seen so many things at Lime change, right? Clearly, all the way back to the founding location and to where we are today. You mentioned that we're growing pretty rapidly. From your perspective, what have you noticed change at Lime?
So a tremendous amount of change at Lime, but the heart has remained the same. The drive has remained the same. I always tell people, like, Nick Lopez is legendary. You guys don't even, and I mean that. Like, there's certain people like Kobe Bryant when he passed away, where I think people didn't necessarily appreciate that. And when he was gone, you're like, whoa, that dude was a big time leader. And I think we need to appreciate people while they're still here for the leadership they have. And I thought I knew what hard work was before I joined Lime. I really did. And I saw you working 6 days a week and extremely long hours. And who knows what you were going through. I mean, the pain points early on in starting a business. I mean, you got to be fully committed. There's no work-life balance, in my opinion. When you're an entrepreneur and you're growing a business, if you go into it of, yeah, I'm going to work 40 hours a week, that might work. I'm not saying that's if you're okay with running a small business forever and you're not necessarily wanting to really grow. I think there's nobility in that, and that's fine. But I think if you want to grow a business the way you have, it's hard work and it's consistent over years and years and years. So you've been in the business 15 years, and I still don't know if I know someone that works harder, that's more dedicated. So I think it's so much of it is hard work and dedication, and it all stems from the heart. But that is what's led to those changes, because when you do put in the work, you always say behavior equals outcome. Behavior equals outcome. So when you pay attention to the details, when you drive the revenue to create a mess, to clean it up by hiring more people and creating more operations, that's how you level up. So I know that, right before I started, you guys were still, and I say you guys, the corporate location, we were handwriting estimates. And then we got a new CRM where you could attach videos and pictures, and it was extremely detailed. And the whole vision, the entire time, it was always about, how do we level up? How do we get better? How do we get better with our tech stack? How do we get better with our customer service? How do we get better with our training? And every single year, you got better at training. We created training software for people, Lime Elite Academy. And that's been a game changer. So I onboard a new VRC, or salesperson account manager, people that are selling projects and managing them. And they get to go through a robust training program that walks them through every single aspect of the Lime Way, from the door pitch all the way through getting a customer review and reaching out to them, next year for a follow-up, and to potentially book more work. So I think just the attention to detail every single year, the intention is to level up. So, I mean, the amount of changes. So I think in 2020, we had something like 5 locations or something like that. And now we're at 90 locations. And that does not come. And by the way, we did it from the ground level up. We weren't highly leveraged in cash. Some companies can throw $1 billion out and grow a company quickly, and that can be sustainable. Oftentimes it's not. But you literally did it from ground up. You did it the right way, did it the sustainable way. And I can't think of really anything where we haven't moved forward on. And even at times when it feels like we're moving back, you have to go through those pain points to move forward. So it's always an opportunity to grow. So yeah, everything from our CRM to our production software to our in the field technology to our training to better understanding of products to partnering with, Ben Moore and PPG in conjunction with Sherwin-Williams, to leveraging those opportunities, to establishing national accounts for residential and commercial, to having, more safety protocol, to have more of a robust production manual. It just seems like in a very short period of time, thanks to the hard work of you and a lot of others at Lime, I mean, I can't really think of an area we haven't grown significantly from my first year. And that's why I invested in Colorado Springs after our first year. That's why we invested in 3 more locations in San Diego, because we believe in the direction it's going. And it's not for everyone. And that's okay. We're looking for the right owners, and we're looking for the right people who see the opportunity and want to get after it, and have the same heart. We're all diverse and we're all different, but we want to have the same core values of love, integrity, mission, excellence.
A lot of change and growth, but I love how you said the consistency at the core of what we do, which is our business, right? And it's all about our customer, and yes, we're growing our footprint and delivering our unique service. Really, we're standardizing what it means to experience a luxury paint project nationally. There's no other company nationally that's doing what we're doing. And so that core focus has always remained the same. But obviously, as you're growing an organization, there's so many departments and teammates and folks that go into expanding that objective. And Tyler, thanks for those compliments. My goodness, means a lot. But yeah, clearly a lot of hard work. And for an individual like like yourself, you clearly have vision and aspirations for the future. And so many things are about timing, and you just have a very unique perspective, being ground level, pre-franchising, being our second franchise owner. And as you mentioned, we're at 90 locations, coast to coast, 21 states. It's been a heck of a ride. And in many ways, we're just getting started, which is exciting. And so, we're talking about an organization changing, and, you talked about sustainability and, being able to improve the value that we give customers from market to market. The marketplace is always changing, and customer demands are always shifting. And we clearly want to define and remain as the authority in luxury coatings and painting. So, a part of a franchise organization is the Franchise Advisory Council. And that is where that collaboration for how we change organizationally to better serve our customers. That's where those committees and collaboration come together. That is the core of a healthy franchise system. And so, you were voted by the owners as the president of the Franchise Advisory Council. Why is that role important to you?
Well, it really just goes back to giving back. I know I keep bringing up the opportunity you gave for me, but look how it's changed my life and those around me. A lot of owners I wanted to give support to the best of my ability while still running my own businesses. And I think the power of collaboration, which you wrote about in your book, is so powerful. We have owners that are highly intelligent. They have experience previously in corporate America and small or middle-sized businesses. There's a lot that we can learn from that. So I just thought, first of all, I was very humbled to be voted into that role. And since then, we've started subcommittees. That was an idea my wife proposed, and it was a really good one. So we invite all owners to collaborate with us and be a part of that. And not just people a part of the FAC, like other owners can join too and provide insight and ideas on how we can continue to level up. And um, I get to be a part of the finance committee where we talk about how do you increase profitability, not only for yourself, but for your subs. How do you understand the numbers so that you can make wise decisions in terms of hiring and so many other aspects. We have a tech stack committee to level people up on their knowledge of technology. And when you have an entire organization working together, that's how you grow. And people feel like they have a voice. They feel like they have influence because they do. So there's a lot of buy-in to it, and yeah, it's been a tremendous journey. And I hope that I can bring more value. The last 4 months of the year, we're in phase 3 of this of the year. It's when some markets might slow down just a little bit, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to really get after it.
Absolutely. And thank goodness Amanda suggested the committees. Our version of the Franchise Advisory Council is quite innovative. And at the core of it, it's all about collaboration. We definitely don't want to have a top-down and approach, right? We definitely subscribe to the upside-down pyramid. And that has really gained tremendous traction over the past year. And we're at a tipping point with it where the next year is going to create a lot of value for customers in the market and clearly provide our franchise owners more tools and resources to do just that, serve our customers in our markets. So Tyler, why do you think somebody should invest in a lime painting franchise?
I'll tell you what intrigued me. I spoke about the values, I spoke about my relationship to you, but the fact that we are the only high-end national coatings company and surface restoration company, to my knowledge, in the world, certainly in the United States. One of the things I like about that is I think the average paint sale in the United States is somewhere between 2,800 and 3,100. I've seen different stats on it. Whereas ours at Lime, depending on the market, is at least 10,000, and in a lot of markets, it's a lot more than that. So when you think about the fact that rather than having 80 subcontractors where you're doing a ton of volume and you have no idea who you're putting on a home, we get to target the projects that we really want to work on with the clients we really want to work on to ensure that we do a quality job. The margins are great because our clients, as I mentioned, a lot of CEOs and execs and business owners, they're willing to pay. They're looking for a Mercedes. So the great thing about that is that they're going to pay you more. Now, you better fulfill your promises and do an excellent job, provide world-class customer service, but that opens up so much more opportunity. First of all, it allows you to pay the artisans better than really any company that I'm aware of. Well, what does that do? Well, it creates loyalty. You're taking care of them. you're paying them fairly. Our culture of just how we treat them. When I was in Denver, we always had barbecues with them. They would come over to your house like we were brothers, and they were our brothers and sisters. And I don't think a lot of companies have that. So I think that's a differentiator in the marketplace. I also think just the branding, the marketing, it really gets your attention. I mean, I told Nick this right before the show. I have my Lime shirt in my truck. I had a lot of meetings today, and I wore this t-shirt. It's like 98 degrees in Denver today. But I think the marketing is tremendous. When we are canvassing neighborhoods, we wear our lime green shirts. We might wear the black ones to manage jobs or white ones, but the green is so bold, it stands out. When people get familiar with our core values, so many people, I did a validation call with a lady from Chicago yesterday, and I asked her, like, why did you look at Lime? She goes, I love your model, I love the branding, and I love what you guys stand for. So for me, it's not just the money, which I think is good, but it's really all of it. It's the way that we manage production. We really do ensure quality. We ensure custom results and lasting impressions. I think we go above and beyond. The other thing is I think you can scale it, and hopefully we're going to see a lot of owners own a ton of territories. We're already seeing existing owners purchase more, and that's going to continue. So I think the average franchise in the United States, net income is around 30 to 35,000. Ours is quite a bit higher than that, and without really breaking down the numbers, I don't want to speak to the latest FDDs, but anyways, I certainly the income's there, the value from home office is there. We have national success coaches that can crunch numbers with you, help you train your team. I mean, I could go on and on, but I'm all in, and hopefully we're far from being done of expanding our little empire at Lime. And Nick, you're going for 1 billion. I'm putting it out there for you. You're going for 1 billion. We'd love to be 10% of that, Actually, I hope we get to 2 billion. Maybe we'll be 5%. But yeah, I think it's a really good company to be a part of, and definitely grateful to be a part of it.
Oh, well said. My goodness. Yes, our 10-year goal, our big, hairy, audacious goal is $1 billion organization. It's pretty uncomfortable to say that, but if it's not uncomfortable, it's not a big enough goal. So you were talking about customers, right, wanting to pay more to get more. And you think about painting, right? Nobody's going to overpay, and that's clearly not our position in the market. But you can think of Lime a lot like Uber Black, right, where you want to opt into a nicer vehicle. Clearly, you're not going to pay a crazy amount for that, but you are willing to pay more for that. And so Lime pairs clients, custom homeowners, with artisans that have been vetted and high grade solutions that have been vetted. And there's a lot of transparency and education that go into the consulting process for how to do it correctly. That is our positioning. That's where we are in the marketplace. And it's very much an exciting venture to be on, defining what it means to be the authority in luxury painting. So Tyler, we've talked about our values: love, integrity, mission, and excellence. Which one is your favorite value and why?
I would say love, because it starts with love. To have integrity, you have to love the person more than yourself at times. Mission. For me, it's to spread the gospel. And, at times I've been afraid to do that because I'm like, man, I fall so far short of the glory of God. And yet it's not about me, it's about him. And so, hopefully there aren't negative consequences that come my way from that. But if so, so be it. It's well intentioned. I'm a sinner, and I'm certainly saved by grace. And that motivates me to want to be a better person. And then excellence, like, again, it goes back to, if you really love your employees and your painters and suppliers and vendors and everyone you work with, you're going to put your best effort forward to make hopefully improve their life. So for me, it all starts with love and it works its way out. And I do want to say something quick too on that last segment. Thank you for bringing that up. Like, we charge people fairly. I want that to be clear. We're we're looking for people that want that luxury car, that luxury paint job, and we charge appropriate, based on that. But that gives us so many different opportunities. And when you fulfill your promises, you expand your clientele base. But yeah, for me, it definitely starts with love.
Love, I could have guessed it. My goodness. Tyler, it has really been an honor having you on the show. Thank you for your leadership and how you set the example at Lime. Thank you for the posture that you have with your team, with your customers, with your artisans. Clearly, this is a family business for you and the Fooses, and it's really been remarkable having your family a part of Lime. You're a huge part of why we are where we are today. So thank you for sharing your story and your knowledge on the Level Up Show, this special episode of the people at Lime. Clearly, this is an amazing individual. I look forward to having you on the show in the future and seeing where your empire is at. Tyler, if anyone would like to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, definitely shoot me an email. My email is T for Tyler, and then Foos, spelled like fuss. F is in Frank, U is an umbrella, S is in Sam, S is in Sam, at limepainting.com, and I'll get in touch with you through that avenue.
Absolutely. Reach out to Tyler if you have any questions, but please, it's so important that you click the subscribe button. That's how we are able to continue to grow and bring thought leaders like Tyler to you to help you level up. Like the video and contribute to the conversation. Drop a comment down below. We would love to hear your thoughts on today's conversation. And as always, level up.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Level Up with Nick Lopez show. Remember, it's never too late to get started on your entrepreneurial journey. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you enjoyed today's segment. Catch us again next week and visit limepainting.com for more of the Level Up with Nick Lopez show.